Hello, good afternoon, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this and yet another episode of the program Midday Vibe. Coming away on Calipate TV, transmitting on channel 141 on Star Times, and Calipate Radio, transmitting on 19.9 megahertz. Midday Vibe is a program where we feature texts concerning day-to-day activities in the country. And today in the show, we'll be discussing about one important issue. Youth in Nigeria have made up over 60% of the voters in all the electoral processes in the country, but yet only a few of them hold offices. What exactly is happening that youth are not having access to political positions in the country? A lot of issues have been raised for the years. We can remember the Not Too Young to Run movement. Where has it been? And what even are the constitutional provisions for who can be elected or be voted into a position in Nigeria? That will be the focus of today's conversation in the show. And to start the show, I'm honored to have with me in the studio Malam Abdul Majid Muhammad Zayan, who is a lecturer with the Department of Political Science from the Sokoto State University here in Sokoto State. Abdul Majid, welcome to the show.
It's my pleasure to be here, Malam.
Thank you very much. And joining us virtually, we have one of the advocates of the Not Too Young to Run movement and a journalist in the country in person of Yusuf Muhammad Ladan. Malam Yusuf, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I will also have in our midst, virtually still, Barrister Abdurrahman Muhammad Jariri, a human rights lawyer in the country. Barrister, thank you for joining us in the show today.
Thank you so much, Malam, for having me.
All right, let's start the program right away. Malam Yusuf, you are part of the advocate of this program, or of the movement Not Too Young to Run in the country, and we have seen how you participated in ensuring that it reaches the national houses. So far, how can you describe the success of the Not Too Young to Run movement?
All right, thank you so much for this opportunity. First and foremost, we can say in terms of legislative or in terms of legislature, the Not Too Young to Run bill, the success, because already we have a law, and the law has provided an opportunity for the youth to participate in elective processes. The issue of age barrier is no more anymore.
Okay.
That's the only thing we can say as a success towards this Not Too Young to Run bill.
Okay.
But when it comes to giving the youth the opportunity to participate in terms of inclusiveness, we can say the Not Too Young to Run bill did not reflect in terms of implementation of the bill.
Okay.
The problem of Nigeria is that we have laws, legislature and civil society organization will do their best to come up with a policy and laws for the betterment of the country. But the problem is implementation of the law and also giving the law an enabling environment to strike. That is where we are having problem in this country.
Okay, Malam,
we have the law already.
Okay.
And the law is there on course, but how to implement the law? There are a lot of bottlenecks that is preventing us from implementing the law the way it's supposed to be. Because now, yes, we have the issue of age barrier is normal.
Okay.
The youth can participate.
Okay.
But the youth have the wherewithal to participate in elections. That is where the problem is. In terms of funds, in terms of capability, in terms of all what is required to be on the ballot.
All right, so you said it all, but yet we still need to know.
We want to cross it as a success.
Okay.
Since we have it on ground.
Okay, it's a success, but the question is now, what's the percentage of youths, or let me say, considering the total percentage of the elderly in the country holding offices, how can you describe the percentage of youths holding political positions in the country?
Are you with me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I said the percentage of youth in political fora or elected position in the country is not encouraging at all.
Okay.
Because we have only few. The National Assembly are only 10%. When you talk about the national youth policy, the age bracket that we mean for the national youth policy,
Yes.
most of the youth that are in the National Assembly are not even up to 10% of the population of the members.
Okay.
365 members of the House of Assembly, House of Representatives. When you come to the Senate, you cannot pinpoint any senator now and said he is a youth.
Okay.
Sincerely speaking, we are not happy with the way things are going. When you come back to the State House of Assembly,
Okay.
though there are a lot of successes,
Yes.
but if you look from the look of things, most of the youth that are in the State House of Assembly, if you consider they are children of allies, children of political power, and the rest, which means the youth of who are the masses are not given the opportunity to participate. When you come back to elective positions like the local government
chairman, councillors, and the rest.
The governors in Nigeria, how many governors are below the age of 40? There are just few. We don't even have a governor in Nigeria that's below the age of 40. So this is a problem that a lot of us are also worried about. When you come back to the issue of even party politics, you can ask yourself in Sokoto State, if not this year, and tell you, if not this year, that APC amends things. Most of the youth leaders of our political parties in the country, they have been elected, but most of them are not even youth. They are just representing youth, but they are not youth. And if you look at the percentage of people that have been elected as a party executive, most of them are elders. They are not youth. And this politics, elected positions started from the party politics. You cannot be a member of the House of Representatives. You cannot be a member of the State House of...
Okay, thank you very much, Malam Yusuf, for that. Now, let's look at it at the legal point of view. Barrister Abdurrahman Jariri. Now, Barrister Jariri, let me just get back to you, Jariri. Now, let's look at it at the legal point of view. Who are elected, or what is the constitutional provision about the people that are entitled to be elected into positions in the country?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Madam Sir, going by this question, in Nigeria we have the constitution as a federal law to say that electoral as a father and mother law. It is the law that gives birth to any other law we have in Nigeria.
Okay.
So it is the constitution itself that now talk about the provisions of who can be eligible to contest any political office in Nigeria. It is there in the constitution, especially from section 65 and 66 that talks about who can be eligible to contest the election into the position of the Senate and the National House of Assembly. And the provisions of this constitution, or the provision of constitution on this matter is somehow written. The reason why I say somehow written, because it is there, but it's not even being implemented or being allowed by the authorities. But it is there as a law, and it is there. It must be seen. It must be followed as well. The constitution, section 65 and 66 talks about that. One of the reasons or one of the issues concerning the election of a person into the political office of Senate and House of Assembly, if to take it into our topic, is that a person is eligible to contest into the membership of the House of Assembly national if he attains the age of 25 years. Okay. If it is an office of the Senate, once you are 30 years, you are eligible to contest to that position. Okay. To take this into our topic now, section 66 and 65 is given the power to any youth who attain the age of 25 years to contest for the position of 25 years. For the position of National House of Assembly member. Okay. And any person who attains the age of 30 years is automatically eligible if he satisfies the other requirements there to contest the position of the Senate seat in the National Assembly. And talking about the president and the governor, the provision of the Constitution under section 131 of the Constitution and 177 talks about that a person can automatically be eligible if he satisfies the other requirements to be a president if he attains the age of 35 years.
35.
As well as the governor. Under Section 177.
Okay.
So in Nigeria, once you attain the age of 35, maybe 40, you are eligible if you satisfy all the other requirements. The reason why I took the provision of DS is because of the topic we are discussing now.
Yes.
The topic that talks about not too young to run.
Yes.
You know, is an alteration to the Constitution that has been come into existence and signed into law in May 2018, and it allows and there to ensure that youth are being included into the democracy and into the government issues in Nigeria. So, summarily, in Nigeria, Section 66 and 65 and 66 of the Constitution says that once a person attains the age of 25 years, he can contest if he satisfies the other requirement of the law to political office of National House Assembly.
Okay.
And if he attains the age of 30 and satisfies the other requirement of the law that is there in the Constitution, he is eligible to contest into the office of the Senate of the National Assembly. Once a person attains the age of 35 years in Nigeria, if he satisfies the other requirement of the Constitution in that regard, he is eligible to contest to the office of the governor of any state in Nigeria, as well as the position of the president or the seat of the president of Nigeria, relying on Section 131 of the Constitution and 177 of the Constitution. And in the case of a House Assembly, Federal House Assembly, Section 106 of the Constitution talks about that once you attain the age of 25 years, you are eligible if you satisfy the other requirements of the Constitution to contest into the office of the state member House of Assembly.
Thank you very much, Barrister, for that wonderful elaboration.
About the not too young to run.
Okay, Barrister, thank you for that wonderful elaboration. The next thing is concerning one of the major challenges faced by youth in contesting for any political position. The audience, viewers, and listeners would like to know the position of sales of nomination form in the Constitution. Is it constitutionally sales of nomination forms? You can recall how recently we have seen how one big party shared how the nomination forms are being sold, and you realize that youth can barely lay hand on such a huge amount of money, talking of contesting. So what is the status of that in the Constitution?
Well, Madam Mukhtar, the Constitution provides for any political party has the right to make such regulations to provide for how the issues of the party shall be conducted. And of course, one of the things that should be governed the Constitution, or maybe by the regulations of the party, should be that the party can sit and see the nature and circumstances of how the form of various seats can be sold. But despite that, that should not be a reason why a party should provide for a price that maybe not everybody can take. Even if not everybody can pay that price, it should be a reasonable amount, because it is always trying to ensure that the provision of the Constitution is being protected. The provision of the Constitution under Section 42 is that it's always protecting the people from discrimination, to show the difference between people. By any party in Nigeria providing maybe the maximum or the highest price in selling the nomination forms, it shows clearly that it only allows those in power, or it only allows those that have money.
Yes.
Not for the
masses. Yes.
Because the example of how APC is selling their funds now level and all the rest is very terrible. You cannot just say 70 million. 70 million.
Yes.
The price of maybe nomination form for the National Assembly. How do you think any youth in Nigeria can come and participate into this?
All right.
Now, if people want to gather money to pay, maybe to buy the nomination form for the eligible candidates, they feel like will represent them very well. How do you think a community, maybe a village community or a small community, can now come and gather 70 million for nomination form?
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister.
That is discrimination. Because discrimination there is that a poor man, no matter how qualified he is, cannot be able to to pay the amount of that nomination form.
Yes.
And by not buying the nomination form, you are automatically disqualified from contesting any political office or any election process in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister, for that wonderful input. We are grateful for having you right now. Viewers and listeners, that's it from the side of our viewers. Now, let's just take a short break, and the program continues thereafter. I will be discussing with Mala Abdul Majid in the studio. Stay tuned and go nowhere. All right, welcome back. It's still a show, Midday Vibe, coming away on Caliphate TV, transmitting on channel 141 on Star Times, and Caliphate Radio, transmitting on 91.9 megahertz. And you have heard from our youths that are participating in these activities, especially Yusuf Muhammad Ladan, who is an advocate of the Not Too Young to Run, and also the barrister who have joined us to tell us what the law says about it. Now, let's come back to the studio where we have a political mogul here too, who is a lecturer of the Department of Political Science, Mal Abdul Majid. We have just heard from the two counterparts of us. Now, the first question is, what's your view concerning the barriers, the things that are depriving youth of participating in political positions in the country?
Thank you so much, Malam Mukhtar. It's a pleasure to be here with you. First of all, we have to look at politics.
Okay.
Yes, because you made mention from political science. Yes. So we have a scholar that is called Aristotle. He made mention that every conversation, every engagement in society is politics.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes you hear people saying, I'm not engaged in politics. But his own belief is that a man by nature is a political animal.
Okay.
So whatever you do in society, a man and a wife, what we are having now a discussion that is politics.
Politics, okay.
Yes. So that aside, then we are talking about political participation. Yes, politics is different from active political participation.
Okay.
Yes, and you made mention of youth, and also Barrister made mention of youth. So in Nigerian context, who do we regard as a youth? Yes. Because when you look at Nigeria, sometimes you see posters flying everywhere. Youth o'clock. Yes, that means a youth is out contesting.
Yes, you take over.
But when you look at it, you see that that person is at the age of 40. Yes, but the Nigerian, let's say law or Nigerian youth policy that was established in 2001. It was reviewed in 2009 and subsequently in 2019. Made mention that the age of youth in Nigeria is from 18 to 35.
Okay.
Yes. So anyone above 35 is no longer a youth.
Wow.
So when you look at our political context or our political atmosphere in Nigeria, who are the youths in political office? Yes, you see a commissioner, a minister of youth, but he's at the age of 50 or 40. So he's no longer a youth.
Yeah,
yes, because a youth is someone that is no more a child, but has not been established socially, politically, or economically.
Okay.
Yes. So that is youth for you.
Okay.
Yes. So when you look at youth participation in Nigeria, the barriers are due to structural blockage.
Okay.
Yes, and it can be termed into two. There is issue of finance and also party structure or party system.
Okay.
Yes. So when you look at the finance, for instance, yes, politics in nature in Nigeria, politics is expensive.
Okay.
Yes. It's not that youth in Nigeria are not interested or uninterested in politics, but it's that it is too expensive for them.
And I can recall when you are defining youth, you say who is not economically established.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes. So this is one of the barriers that is stopping it from participating.
Okay.
They are ready, they are willing, they are motivated, they are educated, but there is no money or resources for them to engage in these particular activities.
Okay.
Yes. And also the issue of party structure.
Okay.
Yes. The party structures are structured in a way that the youth are at disadvantage. Yes. Moreover, sometimes our youth also are at fault in terms of engagement or political participation. Yes. You can find a youth tomorrow, he will decide that he wants to contest for an election.
Yes.
You don't just go into politics without grassroots politics or grassroots activities.
Okay.
Yes. Someone will just decide to print out papers, that he wants to contest for a chairman. But you don't consult with your ward, you don't consult with your people in your local government, or even at the metropolises. When you look at our historical background, all our sophisticated politicians, Aminu Kano, Konkoso, Tinubu, for example, Wamako, for example, they are all grassroots politicians.
Yes.
They did not just wake up tomorrow and decided they want to contest. They started at somewhere or at the grassroots level. Yes. So it is very open. Yes, but the issue is that money and also party structure. Yes, these are one of the few blockage or barriers that stop youth from contesting in election or participating actively in politics in Nigeria.
Okay, Malam Abdul Majid, despite the provisions of the law and the whatever rules that are there for that allows the youth to contest for the positions, you realize that this political stuff tend to be an inheritance per se, because when we talk about youth participating, you see the youth that are participating, as Malam Yusuf rightly said, are mostly from the wealthy or from the people that are leaving the office. So now, how can a youth boycott this particular barrier of maybe trying to engage himself? Because as you said, the youth are resourceful, they are knowledgeable, but these barriers, then how can they overcome it?
Yes, well, first it has to do with the issue of reform.
Okay.
Yes, I think reform has to be made. Maybe will provide a percentage that maybe at the National Assembly, a percentage of the members should be youth.
Okay.
Yes, maybe when you look at it.
You mean it should be constitutional, like in the country, that certain percentage of the members of the House of Reps or Senate should be youth?
Absolutely.
Just like it is done to the ladies, to the female
disability, people with challenges.
Okay.
Yes, and the problem with politics, Malam Mukhtar, is that even internationally, yes, you hardly there is no country that has, let's say, 50 or 60% of youth participation. Yes, but the problem with Nigeria is that 60 or 70% of our population are youth. So our case is different from others. Let's take USA, for example.
Okay.
20 to 30 of their population are youth. But Nigeria, 60 to 70 are
60
youth.
to 70%,
yes.
Sure.
So when you look at the percentage, in terms of population, in terms of vote, it is the youth. But in terms of leadership, it is the elite.
Okay.
Yes. So that's the problem. That's a contradiction, structural contradiction. And you made mention that, so we have to go back to party structure.
Okay.
Yes, because it deals with godfatherism.
Okay.
Yes. There is no way now in Nigeria as a youth tomorrow you can decide you want to engage in politics without knowing anyone. Yes, because in terms of internal democracy, at the party level, party election, there is internal democracy whereby their delegates, they vote for a candidate from their party. That's internal democracy. The issue is that you cannot just wake up and say you are a member of APC, and just contest for election. You have to know someone, you have to have a godfather, and you have to have someone that you are loyal to. That's why you see children of the politician, we are still producing them. Because there is no finance, there is no money available for ordinary youth, grassroots youth, for them to participate in the election. Okay. But Mr. made mention of 70 million. Yes, and we made mention that youth in Nigeria are from 18 to 35. Yes. So who are the grassroots youth in Nigeria that have 70 million to contest in the election? Yes. So it has to be issue of godfatherism. Okay. Yes. And in terms of internal politics in Nigeria, in terms of party politics, candidates are not elected, they are selected. Okay. Yes. It's hardly you see an individual win a primary election without having a godfather. Okay. That's why you see we are still repeating the same cycle. Yes. Politicians, their children, their relatives, that's where all the candidates are coming from. An individual from the grassroots level to come up and decide to contest for election, a primary election, is very hard and very unlikely. And also, you know, the problem is that in Nigerians election, it is not the best candidate that wins. Okay. In terms of primary and also in terms of the election. Okay. It is the biggest spender. Okay. Yes, yes, it is the spender. Yes, thank you very much. Yes. And you know, we have been going in circle in terms of party and finance. We are only talking about the nomination form. Yes. Yeah. What of campaign? Wow. Yes. Campaign to some extent is more expensive than the nomination form. Wow. Yes, because there is media visibility. You have to pay media. Social media, traditional medias, there is logistics, transportation. Yes, all this have to take into cognizance for you to contest election. And there's consultation, also campaigning, yes, traveling, logistics, yes. So just buying the form or not having even the access to buy the form is another issue. But the campaigning also.
But Man Abdul Majid, I think because of this, around 2023, there was a party initiated by youth, which I can't really recall the name, but it went viral. I know I witnessed some event of it in Sokoto here, and I think recently there's another party by youth again. Why are such parties being later on, let me say, diverted into like normal political parties instead of them being there for youth? Because if the party is for the youth, then the youth know their capacity. They know what they can do. They can just set the nomination form to be less or to the barest that a youth can afford, and they have the power, they have the strength, they have the connection to go and campaign for their candidate. But before you realize that one of the moguls in the country is overtaking that. Why are such happening?
You know, all these youth parties that have been established are more of symbolic.
Okay.
Yes, than dominant.
Okay.
Yes, because we come back to my almost first statement where I mentioned that election requires money.
Okay.
And you don't have the money. You can establish a party, but without money you cannot win an election. In the case of Nigeria.
Okay, but you think despite the warnings and the lessons Nigerians have learned out of collecting spaghetti and pieces of cloth, they will still not vote for, right?
It's an issue of political culture.
Okay.
Yes, we lack that orientation. Yes. When we talk of youth now, Nigeria believe that a youth is inexperienced and is not ready. You have that perception.
Okay.
Yes, that orientation. When you go to villages, when you go into metropolises, and you have a candidate maybe of 35 years old contesting for election, and you have another one of 50 years old, the people are tended to go
for the 50 years
for the eldest person because they believe that he has experience, he has hold many positions, whereas this one is untested. He doesn't have the experience, so we have that lack of political orientation.
Okay.
And Malam Mukhtar, I'm telling you, the issue of collecting spaghetti, Nigeria is being devastated with hunger, economic mismanagement, what have you. This issue is more of orientation. And I'll come back to issue of political culture. There is this orientation that whereby our people, because you know in Nigeria's election, yes, election are not won in the metropolis.
Okay.
They are won at the local level.
Wow.
It is the local government, the local wards that have the highest votes. Yes. For example, in Sokoto State, you can win Sokoto North and South. But if you lose virtually almost all the local government and wards, there is every tendency that you fail that election. Yes. And the problem is that the local wards are uneducated or are not aware or they lack the orientation. Yes, for them to critically think of who is best a candidate for them, or who is going to provide the social amenities for them. All they care about is they come out under the sun during election, they are giving 5,000, a goat, spaghetti,
soap.
They don't care about their social well-being, they don't care about electricity, healthcare. All they care about is that 5,000 and they will go again. After 4 years, they will come back again. So there's lack of social orientation.
Okay.
Yes, there's also that.
All right, thank you very much. This is your show, Midday Vibe, coming your way on Calipet TV, transmitted on channel 141 on Star Times, and Calipet Radio, transmitted on 92.9 megahertz. And in the studio, we are talking about the barriers that are blocking the youth from participating in Nigerian political landscape. And with me in the studio, I'm having Malam Abdul Majid Muhammad Zayan from the Department of Political Science, Sokoto State University, Sokoto. Malam Abdul Majid, now, you've mentioned about how the role played by lack of orientation of people in as a barrier, because I'll look at it as such that it is part of the reasons why youth are not even given the face for them to contest for positions. But now, as a youth, how can you describe the power of youth in bringing about development in communities, in bringing about change in policies? Because we know no movement, no policy, not a single program can be around without active participation of youth.
Yes, absolutely. When you look at maybe let's take our National Assembly, for example, it's a decision making body.
Yes.
Yes. And Barrister made mentioned that only 10% of youth are represented in the whole of National Assembly. You can imagine. Yes. the youth have 70 to 60%.
They are the most populous.
Yes. But in terms of representation, 10%. But also there is a new development since the enactment of the Not Too Young to Run. Yes, it has opened more doors. Many youth have contested, and more youth have been appointed in terms of appointment political offices. Yes, but the problem is the elective political offices.
Okay, where they can be the decision makers.
Because you are more of a symbolic when you are appointed. Yes, but when you are elected, you have the power to make decision and also make your voice heard. Yes. So when you look at it, is that Nigerian youth are more active on social media than in grassroots. Yes, we have a very large population. Our youth are teeming. They are strong. They are educated.
Sure.
Yes, but the problem is that there are no youth or activism at the grassroots level or on field. Yes, it is more of social media than on the field. Yes. So our youth have to strategically or structurally shift their focus rather than on social media. They have to be on ground. Yes, because you made mention of
influence,
the parties that are being established by youth, but the problem is it is only happening mostly on social media.
Okay,
yes, you have to be campaigning. You have to enter the crooks and cronies of every area and every community. Yes, for you to engage with them. Yes, but a strong social, because this is a global world. The world has changed. So whatever you are doing, you have to go with social media.
Okay.
Yes, you have to.
All right, that's very nice one. Thank you, Mal Abdul Majid. But still, I still have one concern. You made mention of godfatherism, that there is no way one can be elected into an office without having a godfather. And this godfather of a thing is kind of a negative one because it trades loyalty for autonomy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how can we, or what did you think can be done in order to change this godfatherism into maybe, let's say, mentorship, so that the youth can be mentored toward advancing their career?
Yes, yes, mentorship. Well, we can't say it is all the politicians that are godfather. There are others that mentored some politician and they are elected into office. Yes, and when they are elected, they take a back seat and watch how everything falls.
But we have
seen others that stays.
Okay.
Yes.
But we've seen the majority that after being elected, you have to be given return to the bus.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So the issue of godfatherism is that it comes back to this finance.
Okay.
Yes. As a youth, you have the ambition. You are motivated, educated. You have ideas that you want to contest. But the problem is you don't have the money. So you meet a politician. He finances you.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, he financed you and you got elected. Definitely you will be loyal to him.
You sure?
Yes, you have absolute loyalty to him. And sometimes to some extent, you enter into agreement with them. Yes, that if I'm elected, I'm going to give you a so maybe as a government. Yes, so percentage of government control. If I'm going to make appointment, I'm going to consult you. Or you are going to give me so commissioners. Yes, so that is where it starts. So it goes back to the finance.
But well, is there any way we can do, or the youth can just cater with this particular problem? Because that's the most aching problem.
Absolutely. You know, the problem is since Nigeria returned to democracy, since 1999, we are still recycling the same leaders.
Okay.
Formal head of state is coming back. Formal governor general
is coming back.
Yes, formal minister is now a senator. Formal senator is now a minister. This and that, or a governor, a minister. So we're still recycling the same set of people. Yes. So what youth has to do is that what they ought to do is that they have to engage. Yes, because when you look at the side of the youth, to some extent, they also have their own backwardness in terms of engagement. Yes, there are many youth that we have that are actively ready, but they don't want to engage in politics. Yes, so we have to come out in masses. Yes, and we have to come out and support a candidate that we think is capable. Yes, because the issue of godfatherism or elites, or let me say the old age or the old class politician, it's not an issue of Nigeria. It happens in Africa and also in some European and Latin Americans. So this is an issue.
Yes.
But because what makes it very interesting in Nigeria is that because of our population. Yes, 60%, 70% of our population are youth. Therefore, we need to be represented. Yes, maybe it should be 40 to 60. Yes,
ratio 40, ratio 60.
Yes, but there is no way, it doesn't make sense. Whereby we have 70% of youth in Nigeria. 60% of the voters are youth, but we have 10
percent
representing
representation.
us. So our voice is not being heard.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
not being heard. So we have to strategically come and involve. We come in masses and we involve. And the problem is that Malam Mukhtar, why people or youths don't want to involve in politics is because of intimidation.
Okay.
Corruption. Yes. These are, and also violence, because there are people or there are youths, even intellectuals. We have professors, we have lecturers who have the ideas, the capacity to make policies, but they don't want to enter into politics because of the corruption, because of the intimidation and the violence that comes with it. So we have to keep aside this and engage in politics.
Okay.
Yes, but these are some of the instruments or items or factors that stops youth from engaging in politics, because corruption, Malam Mukhtar, in politics, because I keep mentioning that politics or election is expensive. Yes, and we made mention of
in Nigeria.
Yes, thank you very much. We made mention of people collecting 5,000.
Yes.
So if you don't have that 5,000, you're not going to win election. Because I made mention that in Nigeria it's not the best candidate. I can have a PhD, and another person is having a secondary certificate, and I have come out and give out my policies and program. If I'm elected, people will not vote for me based on those my policies. If I'm not going to give them
the 5,000 or 2,000 or a rapper or spaghetti
during the election. Yes. So I'll come back to my point that in Nigeria, it is not the best candidate that win, but the biggest spender.
All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Still a show, Midday Vibe, coming here on Calipet TV, transmitted on channel 141 on Star Times, and Calipet Radio, transmitted on 19.9 megas. And now is the time for you to come in and join the conversation, join the thrill, and discuss with us in the show. And remember that you can do call us to join the conversation on 090-6000-2022. I'll repeat the number, 090-6000-2022. This is the number to call and chip in the conversation. When you do call, please move away from the radio set you listen to us and talk only on the topic we are discussing. Hello, good afternoon. We have the first caller. Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, please, who is on the line? Sir, Mr. P. Can you be audible, please? Yes, I can hear you, Mr. P.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Sir?
I don't know what you're getting.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Who just has
Okay.
compassion,
Mm.
has what has a little
Mm.
someone that can bring himself down
Now.
level of people at the ground.
Mm.
Are you
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. P.
understand?
Yes.
It has those attributes of a good leader.
Mm.
It's not about the number of education
Okay.
or how you can speak English or how well you can express it.
Mm.
That's not what makes you.
Okay. Mm.
The youth of this country,
Mm.
they are really ready to get.
Okay, so please, Mr. P, what type of readiness? What type of readiness are you referring to now when you said they are not ready? What type of readiness do you think they should have now?
I'm trying to make the point.
Okay.
Our answer.
Okay.
The youth of this country, they are still ready for the world.
Mm. Okay. Mm.
Problem of Nigeria is that
Mm.
we can never operate
Mm. Mm.
you understand?
Mm.
Who I would have expected Nigeria to have been for
Okay.
here we will have independent studies. You don't have to spend money.
Okay. Mm.
But one is an example of someone
Okay.
and he won election.
Wow, that's
So
nice.
the issue of party form, really, some of them, the party form, is not a
Mm.
and like I said,
Mm.
you really need to know what you
Okay.
want. Not about how well, how
Yes.
compassionate,
Yes.
understanding the problem,
Yes.
how you can make the difficult situation or intense situation, how you solve it,
Mm.
and you can the situation,
Mm.
you bring joy
Mm. Yes. Okay.
and even good
Mm. Okay.
what you get. If you look at it, all the political centers
Hello, Mr. P. Mm.
are so when you were saying that Nigerians of
Mm.
but the people see that they are there sometimes
Okay.
how can they and then because we have that
Experience.
intelligence.
Okay.
You understand?
Mm.
When you know that things are hot, what you need to do, calm down now,
Mm.
how to embrace everybody, how
Mm.
to cut across tribal barriers.
Mm.
This is what they are looking
Yes.
for.
Mm.
Nigeria is- So I'm telling you, we should advocate for a restructured
Okay.
have independent country
Mm.
and invite those people.
Mm. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. P. I think he made a reasonable point, despite the network problem. But yes, Mal Abdul Majid, he's mentioning, he's just sticking on one point, that youth of Nigeria are not really ready. And his main backing was they lack the readiness because they don't have the experience. They don't require. It's not about being in the office or just having the prestige of being the position, but rather, what can you do to solve the community's problem? And what can you do to balance the equations that the society needs? What would be your take on this view of his?
It was a very nice view.
Mm.
Yes, and very constructive.
Yes.
Yes, I love it.
Mm.
And he made mention of France,
Yeah, okay.
Emmanuel Macron,
Mm.
and we are talking here about the context in Nigeria.
Mm.
Yeah, Nigeria's election is different from that of France,
Yes.
USA.
Yes.
Yes. So you have to look at it in the context of Nigeria.
Mm.
If it is easy for someone that is France,
Mm.
a youth to contest an election,
Mm.
it is absolutely not the same in Nigeria.
Yes.
The issue of
and perhaps that's why he's calling for reform.
absolutely,
That we have
absolutely,
to, yes.
absolutely, and he called for restructuring.
Restructuring, thank you.
Restructuring, yes. But the issue is that how are you going to restructure?
Mm.
Yes, when you don't have the representation, when you don't have the youth are not having the courage to engage. Because I made mention earlier in my statement that the youth are motivated.
Mm.
They are ready.
Mm.
Yes, and they are educated.
Mm.
Yes, but the problem is that Mukhtar, power is not given.
Okay.
You have to take it.
Mm.
Yes, you have to take it. That's why I made mention that the youth have to engage locally.
Mm.
Yes, you have to start from the bottom
Mm.
up. You
Mm.
cannot just come that you want to restructure the country or you want to win an election
Without
Yes,
being part and
without
parcel of it.
Yes, absolutely. So you have to do that.
All right, thank you very much. You can still join us on 09060002022. That's the number to call. And when you call, please stay meaningful and stay in the topic we're discussing. Now, Malabdul Majid, now we are referring to this issue of youth and the electoral positions. Now, there are a lot of youth recently posting flyers on social media that they are going to contest for this position and that position and this position and that position. But the most shocking part of it is when it comes to the election, that when it is some months or let's say some months to election, you will find these people are nowhere to be found.
Yes.
What did you think, or what role did you think that plays in Nigerian policy? Well, let's say that one out. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Hello, good afternoon. Okay, I think this one need to do call back. There's a little not a problem. So what image do you think that gives in the context of Nigerian politics? Like, what role does that play?
Yes, we have to go back again to that structural barrier.
You know, what I noticed was when it happens, people will be like afraid that youth are really ready to do this. Yes, but before you realize, then they will all slack.
Yes, sometimes most of the youth engage in posting posters.
Okay.
Or coming out ambitious to contest. Yes, but sometimes some do it with an intention.
Okay.
So you come out with a poster that you want to contest. Yes, and in your community, maybe the elders have witnessed that, or maybe members of the elite in the party, yes, have subscribed that, yes, you have the fellowship and maybe you have the capacity also. They will carry you along, or they will bring you along, yes, for mentorship. And to some extent, sometimes people do that in order to be recognized.
Okay.
Yes, because if someone comes out from nowhere that he wants to contest and he comes out for campaigning and you see thousands of people, definitely an eye will be put on him.
Yes.
That yes, he's an interested candidate. Maybe he should be carried along. You can be promised. Yes. You should drop your ambition. You will be given a commission. You should drop ambition. So this happens. Sometimes our youth have that problem. Yes. Sometimes they come out with that ambition. And I have one unpopular opinion. Yes, is an opinion or a view. Yes, to some extent, I don't believe our youth are actually ready. Alan, yes.
And why did you say that?
Yes, so when you look at some of our appointees, yes, we have youth that are appointees.
Yeah, political appointees.
Political appointees. The way they act, the way they govern or conduct their affairs in that particular appointed office, you have a look at it and see this is a bed of the same feather. Yes, the elite and the youth to some extent are all the same.
On the same track.
Living lavishly, going out in convoys. Yes, because you are a youth, you come with a refined mind.
Okay.
Yes, you should do something different.
I like that.
Yes. You are engaging with your people. You want to be a grassroots politician. Listen to your people. But you see a common SE running with 10 cars going to one.
Where is he going to?
Yes, and these are things that we are criticizing from the Yes, if the president or governor is going out, you see 20 cars. Yes, so these are things we are criticizing. Spending money on transportation, on logistics. These are things that we are calling for government to cut its spending. Yes, but you see our SEs doing that again. Yes, or an SA sharing rice or giving 5,000 to the community. A youth, 30-year-old or 35-year-old youth. Yes, but his constituency project is sharing rice.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
So where is your experience? Where is your intelligence?
Yes.
To bring reforms for your own people? Why are you still repeating the same thing of sharing rice and for your people?
Okay, now, what other alternatives does youth have for being voted into political positions in Nigeria?
First, it has to be there. We have to come through education.
Okay.
Yes, we have to be educated. Yes, because someone that is educated is different from someone that is not educated.
Yes.
Yes, you definitely have the reasoning capacity or logical reasoning, whereby you know this is good or this is bad.
Okay.
Yes, and it is expected that if you are educated, and if it comes to campaigning or election, you know this is a candidate that can transform your country. This is a candidate that can bring good governance. Yes, whereas someone that is not educated sometimes cannot differentiate between the two.
Yes.
So you are expected to be educated, and also second, you have to engage. Yes, you have to engage. Just being educated is not enough. You have to engage. If you have the ambition of being in politics,
by engaging, you have to participate.
You have to participate. Start from your ward, from your area. Be recognized. Yes, before you come upward. You cannot just wake up and tomorrow and say you are contested. And tomorrow, if you are being dropped, you will start complaining. Start from your ward, your local government. Then you come upward. Yes, with that you have strong backing. Yes, with that you have strong backing. So absolutely, this always, and also orientation. Yes, is another big factor that can influence voting good governance. Yes, good leaders in governance. Yes, because I made mention that when you go to our local communities, they are being given 5,000 or a goat. Yes, during the previous election. Yes, and you vote for a candidate.
Yes.
After 4 years, again the cycle repeats itself. Yes. So with this, there should be orientation. Yes, that this is a leader that you are going to elect. If you elect him, you provide healthcare. you provide running water, you provide good routes, and you provide security for you. Yes. Whereas this one have been there in power. He has been a chairman, he has been a rep, he has been a senator. But tomorrow he'll come back again and tell you you should vote for him, and you will repeat the same thing. Whereas there is this one with a new idea, new perception. So you should give him a try. That's why I said there is issue of inexperience. Okay. Yes. And it's not that the youth are inexperienced, it is the mentality of our people that are not oriented.
That they think because you have not done it before, you cannot do it.
Tomorrow, Malam Mukhtar, if you context for election, and another person that maybe he has been a chairman of a PAMSEC in the state government, contest for election, I'm telling you, it is very unlikely that you will be victorious. Okay. Yes, because they will say, well, Malam Mukhtar doesn't have that experience. He has never held a political office. Yes.
So you don't know the ways.
Thank you very much. Yes, but this one he has been a chairman, he has been a PAMSEC, so definitely he is experienced. So there's nothing issue of being experienced in leadership. Can you provide social, what is required as a leader? If you can provide, it doesn't matter about your age. It's not about the age or being an elite or being in government. Can you provide the required services to your people in the community or in the country?
All right, thank you very much, Malam Abdul Majid, for this wonderful conversation. And viewers and listeners, due to time, here we come to the end of today's show. A very, very big thank you to the callers, especially Mr. P for his input, which make the program more colorful, and our friends who we spoke with virtually, Malam Yusuf Muhammad Ladan and Barrister Jariri, and also Malam Abdul Majid Muhammad Zayan, who is a lecturer with the Department of Political Science from the Sokoto State University. Thank you very much for having you today, sir.
It's my pleasure.
So listeners and viewers, we should know that there is no way your head will be shaved without your presence. We need to be active as youth. We need to participate and show activeness in all we do. And we have to cater with that fear that we have that we cannot do it. We can really do it, and we need to take our place. But all it takes is you should know that you are there for your people, not for the people that you served. You are there for the people that voted you into that particular power. So work hard and orient people on how to elect for good leaders, not only leaders that provide for a day and they will cheat for 4 years. On behalf of the studios of Calicut TV, transmitted on channel 141 Star Times and Calicut Radio, transmitted on 92.9 MHz, I am Mukhtar Igwaga saying, stay tuned and keep enjoying your day. Happy Friday.